are there? You might jump after hearing that and scream 8! Or none if you're a Pluto fan. But the true answer changes when we treat the criteria. So today, we play with astronomy's yarn ball and talk about different paradoxes with our 3 criteria. Hope you're ready. The truth is, the criterion should make it clear that Uranus is a planet and 255,088 Gong is not. But nature doesn't care about our convenience, and some objects I would think of as planets or not could be a bit more controversial. Take 10 Hygiea, for example. An asteroid or is it dwarf planets? Scientists recently figured out that Hygiea has a spherical shape and is in the main asteroid belt like Ceres. But oh, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, let's look at the criteria for a planet. According to the International Astronomical Union, or IAU, the same group that demoted poor Pluto and has reclassified 2 more dwarf planets, Ceres and Ceres. In 1930, shortly before World War II, Clyde W. Tumbach discovered Pluto, achieving the goal Percival Lowell wanted to do in the last 10 years of his life, discovering a new 9th planet. It was immediately referred to as the 9th planet, and the criteria were that it was spherically shaped and that it orbited the sun. Quick side note, at the time of the discovery, Pluto was estimated to be as large as Neptune, so it might come to you as no wonder they thought it was a planet. They overestimated the size. But as technology advanced over the 20th century, Jan Oort devised the Oort cloud shortly after World War II. The edge of the solar system is what he devised. It's thought that this is where comics come from. And Pluto's estimated size kept getting smaller, so objects in the Oort cloud started to get a lot larger, which raised the speculation that in the Oort cloud there could be an object the size or larger of Pluto. All of this suspicion was certainized, not a word, by the discovery of Eris in 2005. Before it was named Eris, or the nickname Xena for that matter, it was called 2003 UB313 because the images that revealed it were actually taken in 2003, 2 years before the discovery. Boom. And this discovery raised an almost crisis to the Astronomical Society. Should Eris be classified a planet, it would have made Haumea possibly a planet, leading to 11 planets, sorry. So in 2006, a meetup of the IAU settled everything by demoting Pluto, Eris, and the aforementioned Ceres to a new class of objects called dwarf planets. Very quickly, Haumea and Makemake were discovered, and meaning that there are now 8 planets and 5 dwarf planets. Sorry, Pluto fans. The classification of a planet today is based on 3 criteria. 1, it orbits the sun. Pretty obvious one. 2, it is in a spherical shape. Isn't this not a planet? And 3, it has no asteroids straddling its orbit, i.e. a clean orbit. I like to think that he's vacuumed his orbit. And my personal bonus for what I consider a planet or not, a low eccentricity. And before I continue, a low eccentricity is basically an almost circular orbit. You know how planets have elliptical orbits, but eccentricity can be very low, so they can have a very small ellipse. Like an ellipse that isn't so ellipse-like, if you get what I mean. But some objects in our solar system, while not planets, do have some of those things. In fact, if we were to swap the 3rd criterion with my bonus, i.e., a planet wouldn't need a clean orbit but would need a low eccentricity, Pluto would still be a dwarf planet because of its high eccentricity. Again, I'm sorry, Pluto fans. But more interestingly, for all of those people who love more stuff and more planets and more things to learn at school, there would now be 10 planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Ceres, and 10 Hygiea. Let's just try making a checklist for the different criteria that Ceres and Hygiea sustain. First, Ceres. It obviously has a spherical shape, and orbits the sun, check. But it also surprisingly only 7 times higher eccentricity than the Earth. That is 0.07 eccentricity. Meaning that my bonus criterion is checked. Of course, it doesn't have a clear orbit though, so it isn't planets, and that's why it would have been a planet if that clear orbit thing, if it didn't need a vacuum. It's like a dirty kid can still be like a A+ in school, kind of. And in fact, Hygeia has the literal same criterion checks. Spherical shape, low eccentricity, and orbits the sun, because it's an asteroid. But it doesn't, have a clean orbit. Meaning that Hygeia isn't a planet, but theoretically should, and is starting to be speculated as a dwarf planet. This raises controversy about if we have 6 dwarf planets, or if we should have 10 planets and 4 dwarf planets. Now, it's getting a little complicated, but now let's get to my favorite controversy. Jupiter. Oh, Jupiter. It checks out the first 2 of the IAU's criteria and my bonus criterion. But does it really check the third IAU criterion? Because Jupiter has Trojans, i.e. asteroids that share its orbit. So is Jupiter still a planet anyway, or is it just the largest dwarf planet? And if it is what it is, then is it a dwarf planet that saved us? Or is it a planet that breaks the rules? This is why I love controversies. They're just so fun to discuss and to give your opinions on it. And if that's not crazy enough, look at the Earth. There's so many near-Earth asteroids, raising a large controversy about if the Earth itself is a dwarf planet. The real solution is that we have 8 planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and 6 dwarf planets: Ceres, Pluto, Haumea, Makemake, Eris, and 10 Hygeia. Now to recap. We learned about the discovery of Pluto and the suspicion that was certainized, again not a word, by the demotion of 3 objects in August of 2006, and about the 3 IAU criteria and a special criterion that I keep in the back of my head, and how unclear science still is. But whether it's a dwarf planet or a planet, as humans will never stop exploring and clarifying everything, including science. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and ding that bell. We will be back very soon with another video.